Hello again and welcome to another Warhammer 40K video. So today I've got some rumour roundups and leak roundups for Genestealer cult. So I'm really excited for the Genestealer cult coats. I can't wait for them to get their to get a proper coats because they're a really fun and flavourful army and they're pretty unique as well. And I really like them. I really like them. I mean, it's interesting. I've had my Chaos army for ages. I've never really been able to get into it. My Genestealer cult army, I've only, I've sort of recently had, and I really like them. I think they're a really cool army. I know heresy, call down the Inquisition and all that. I know, boys, I know, but they are fun. They are fun and they are cool. Now today I have some Warlord traits, which I am 99% sure are legit. And then I have some rumours for some stratagems and general stuff about the codex as well. So we'll jump into this with the Warlord traits, okay? And we'll go through each one, and I'll give an idea on what I think is the best one, essentially. So the first one is called Shadow Stalker, and your opponent must subtract 1 from the hit rolls for attacks that target your Warlord. This one's quite good. I think it would be better if it was an aura buff, and if it was everyone within 6 inches, okay, and it was called something like Cloak of Shadows or something, or Bringer of the Night. I don't know, okay, but the problem I have with this is that it's not really very useful for the kind of characters that Genestealer cult get. So things like Patriarchs and Abominants, they are combat monsters. And honestly, typically, what they get into combat with, they just kill. So it would be quite good if maybe your Patriarch kills something and it's left out to dry, and then at least he's a little bit more difficult to kill. Maybe, but really, typically he's just going to slice something apart, and then you're going to have other units around and that stop him from getting hurt. It's okay. It's not a bad Warlord trait. It's definitely a fluffy Warlord trait, and yeah, it's okay. Like I said, it's decidedly okay. It's kind of good for combat characters, but I'm not sure if they'd really get much use out of it. Primuses, they're ambush delivery systems. So any mana that you get out of them is post delivering the accurate cult ambush is whatever. So I don't really care putting on them. And Omegas, he's typically going to be behind the lines anyway, so again, he's not really going to get targeted. So it's okay. I don't really see anyone taking it, and apart from for fluff reasons. Now, the second one, Focus of Adoration, is the one from the chapter approved, and it's okay. Friendly Genestealer cult infantry units can perform a heroic intervention whilst they're within 6 inches of this Warlord, even if they are not characters. It's potentially very good. I see this as having 2 purposes. Okay? Okay. Read it again. Infantry units can perform an heroic intervention whilst they are within 6 inches of this Warlord, even if they're not characters. It doesn't give you a 6-inch heroic intervention. It just means if you are within 6 inches of this Warlord, you can do your normal 3-inch heroic intervention. Okay, now I see this being used in 2 ways. One, against armies that really, really, really don't want to be in close combat. Okay, like Tau or Imperial Guard. Okay, these kind of armies, what you would do is, let's say you ambush your Warlord and a bunch of units, and you do your first charge, obviously, and you get in amongst them. Then you take some, then your opponent falls back, and in your opponent's turn, when maybe your opponent doesn't fall back far enough. Maybe you've got him crammed in a corner. Maybe he just falls back a little bit so he can keep screening but keep shooting. And then in his turn, you heroically intervene at the end of the charge in his charge phase. Again, I don't see that being super helpful, because you've only got 3 inches for your heroic intervention. So it's like your opponent, for it to work in that way, is going to really have to fuck up his fallback. So the other way, I think it it can be used quite well is if your Warlord gets into trouble, you can pull people closer to him and then he can palm wounds off onto them with the Genestealer Cult like army rule, which is on a 4+, you can just put wounds onto friendly models. Surrounding your Warlord with a bunch of neophytes with this trait might work. Again, it's a bit of a tricky one because, a bit of a tricky one. It can't quite heroically intervene to make it good at, denying people Overwatch. But again, it's not really very useful for protecting your Warlord either. It's a bit of a weird one. I don't rate it. Third one, Wall Creeper. I like this one. Your Warlord can move across models and terrain as if they were not there. In addition, your Warlord can shoot and charge even if they fell back this turn. Fantastic. This is the kind of thing you want to put on a Patriarch, okay, and just make it a Patriarch missile. Because what the Patriarch's going to do is, if he wants to get to an enemy unit, he is. The enemy can't screen, they can't hide behind terrain, he just ignores everything. He goes in a direct line to the enemy unit. No questions asked. And I like the second part as well, because Patriarchs, they have a decent number of attacks, but not necessarily enough. So they can tear apart single things very easily. So I've torn apart a Predator in one go. A little bit of luck on my side, but I just tore it to pieces. But against, let's say you have something as simple as a 10-man tactical squad, and it's screening something that you want to get to. Now, in your turn, you charge into it and you kill 5 or 6 of the Marines. Okay, then your opponent goes, you know what? I would rather, I can't deal with all these things that are ambushing into me right now. I'd rather I just lost 4 tactical Marines in my turn, rather than fall back and create a gap in my line, which you can then smash your Patriarch into something even more juicy. So, you know what, I'm going to stay in combat and use 2 command points to make my guys stay still. And you're like, okay, cool. You know what, I'm just going to fall back over you, because enemy units and terrain don't matter, and then I'm still going to charge that thing I want to charge anyway. It's really good. It's really, really, really good. The next one, Born Survivor. Again, a good one. Roll a d6 at the start of your turn. On a 6, your Warlord regains d3 lost wounds. Sounds shit. However, on any other result, your Warlord regains 1 wound. So every turn, your Warlord is getting a wound back. And if you get a 6, he gets d3. On average, that's going to be a 2. That is really good. That, on a Patriarch, is just nasty. It's just really going to make them hard to kill. Because if you leave that thing on 1 wound, it could potentially heal back d3. And then it's going to be, if you could bring in neophytes that you can palm wounds off on a 4+, it just makes a Patriarch tough to deal with. Now, number 5 is another good one. Friendly Genestealer Cult units within 6 inches of your Warlord automatically pass morale tests. This is an important one. Okay? Now, the Patriarch already has this ability. Okay? Just as standard. However, this allows you to put it on something that's a much cheaper character, like a Magus. Okay? And you Maguses are Psychers. They're going to want to be a little bit further back buffing things anyway. What this allows you to do is to create quite an effective... And I've done this with Genestealer Cult anyway, and where I've taken basically a guard army as Genestealer Cult. And what you do is you take all your infantry in 20-man blobs, you give them mining lasers and grenade launchers, and you take loads of tanks, and then just interspersed, you can take 2 to 3. You take 2 to 3 Patriarchs. You just make everyone fearless, and you're rocking around. It's stupid, and somehow you're rocking around with 150 to 200 infantry, 3 or 4 Lehman Russes, and then you've got these 3 Patriarchs making everyone fearless. And it's actually quite good, because people don't really know how to deal with loads and loads of fearless infantry. Another good example of this is when people do it with Abaddon or with Iron Warriors when they do it with cultists, with Chaos, and it is really powerful. I've seen mass cultists backed up by like demon princes just take on loads of armies that were well above their weight. And this allows you to do something very... what I was doing allowed me to do something very similar. But guess what? Now you don't need to spend 150 points on essentially a Patriarch that makes everyone fearless. You could just spend half the amount on Omegas and get the same result. So it is good. It allows you to save points. And then we get to number 6, which is amazing and honestly the best one out of all of them, and is probably an auto-include. Okay. Ambush Leader. When your Warlord arrives in the battlefield using Cult Ambush ability, do not roll on the Cult Ambush table. You can choose the result to apply instead. If you choose for a unit to arrive with your Warlord, the chosen result applies to that unit as well. Oh, mummy. Holy dog shit. That is good. You know what? I shouldn't have to explain why that is good, but I'm going to. Currently, Genestealer Cult have one way of reliably ambushing in a squad. It's where you take a Primus, you use the Meticulous Uprising stratagem, and that allows you to roll 3 dice for the Cult Ambush and re-roll any of them that you want to try and get a better result. It almost guarantees the 5 or 6. And then you put that on a blob of Genestealers, and you pretty much are guaranteed that you're going to get 20 Genestealers or 20 Acolytes where you want them. And that's one way we can do it now. But because it's a stratagem, we can only do that on turn 2 and turn 3 with 1 unit each time. This allows us to do... This Warlord trait allows us to do a massive turn 2 strike. You could get 40 Genestealers 1 inch away from the enemy. Because you get 20 with the Primus using Meticulous Uprising, and then you take a Patriarch with another 20 Genestealers, and you have him as Ambush Leader. And then you've got a Patriarch which is ambushing in reliably. A Patriarch which can shred a unit on its own. So you've got a Patriarch which can shred a unit, 40 Genestealers which can shred an army. What's so good about this is it allows you... You could ambush in 20 neophytes as well. Maybe you want to ambush in 20 neophytes and 20 Genestealers. Now, why would you do that? You'd ambush in 20 neophytes and you'd use them to clear away a screen, completely clear away a screen, and then the Genestealers can go through the gap. Absolutely fantastic. It means that with this, if you wanted to, you could ambush in. If you wanted to have maybe you're not playing a 2,000 point game, maybe you're playing a lower point game, you know? You could maybe, what if you're only playing like 500 points? If you're playing 500 points, you could take a Primus with this, ambush in 20 neophytes, and you choose the result 5, and you ambush them in 9 inches away, and on a 5 you get to shoot again. So you'd get to fire twice in rapid fire range with your neophytes. That's 80 shots. That's pretty good. That's pretty bloody good. So really, really powerful. This one combines so well with some stratagems that we see later. Now, so I've said 6 is my favourite. In terms of what I think, where these Warlord traits would work, I think Born Survivor, Ambush Leader, and Wall Creeper, and probably Shadow Stalker are good for Patriarchs. Alien Majesty is good for like a cheaper HQ, like a Magus or a Primus. And Focus of Adoration is pretty universal. That's where I'd see myself using them. Now, let's go on to a bit more Rumour roundup. So there's some stratagems that we have potentially coming. Now again, these stratagems I want to say are purely rumour. They look legit, and I've looked around the internet and I've found multiple people saying this kind of stuff, but it's not. I would definitely not take it as read. Okay, this is just rumour, but I do like the look of these. First one, Sabotage. When an enemy unit is destroyed and has an explosion effect, do not roll that dice. That effect automatically triggers. So good. Costs 1 command point. Imagine you... It means you can make things like knights automatically explode. It's so good. It's a little... It could be a little double-edged, because what if you destroy something in close combat and you want to use this stratagem? You know, you could do some damage to yourself, but it's definitely it's still very good if you kill something from long range. You know, it's a good stratagem. So you can use this. It's 1 command point. It's good. I really, like I said, I can see myself using that stratagem a lot. I am very willing to lose D3, like Acolytes or Genestealers, to do sort of D3 wounds and maybe finish off another enemy vehicle. Because the way you could see it, right, and yes, it could do a lot of damage to you, is imagine you charge 2 enemy vehicles and you don't quite kill them both. You kill one and the other one's on like 1 or 2 wounds. Boom, Sabotage, take out the next vehicle, just remove that threat. Done. You can use this to create some quite interesting chain reactions. Right. Second one, Confusion in the Ranks, 3 command points. So expensive. Choose an enemy unit in your opponent's army, select one of its aura abilities. That ability cannot be used until the start of your next turn. Okay, when I first saw this, I thought, Puh? Who gives a fuck, right? Who actually cares? Oh, the enemy can't reroll those ones with the captain. Oh, you know. And then I thought, hang on a second. What if your opponent has something that makes... a good example will be, again, has something that makes all units around him fearless, and he's taken big blobs of things. For example, if someone has a Baden and they have a huge amount of cultists, you could very easily go, right, you've got loads of blobs of cultists there, I'm going to kill 20 from each blob. Okay, and your opponent's there thinking to himself, what an idiot, you know, they're all fearless, he should be wiping them out, and then you go, Confusion in the Ranks on a Baden, or Confusion in the Ranks on that Warlord which is making all these blobs fearless. And suddenly it's like, hang on, I just took a load of casualties, my horde units, and now I've got to take leadership checks on them, and I'm probably going to lose the rest of the fucking unit. It's good. That's where I see it being powerful. Also good on if someone has a big, like, massive fire-based castle, like if you've got Bobby G in amongst an Imperium army, and you can just be like, nope, no rerolls forever. No, not all those rerolls. Nope. No, thank you. So that could be cool. The next one, the Anointed One rises. Now, I don't have a number of command points for this one. Use a stratagem if an abominant is slain at the end of the phase. That model is set up again as close as possible to the previous position and more than 1 inch away from enemy models with D3 wounds remaining. That's good. That's really good. Oh, you killed my abominant. Guess what? Get it back for a turn. Well, not for a turn. I get it back. That's gonna have to be 2 or 3 command points. That's good. Density analysis lenses. Ignore cover on chosen target. Okay, potentially. With the, like I said, I did a Rumour video. I've done a Rumour video recently where I talked about how a lot of -1 hit armies are potentially going to be going to county and cover. This could be useful, and also could be good if someone prepares defences. Now, don't forget, this could probably be applied to a Lehman Russ, a cult Lehman Russ. That'd be pretty cool. So that has potential. Next one, Inhuman Reflexes. A unit gets a 5++ or has invulnerable save increased by 1. So this to me screams 4+ Genestealers, 4+ invulnerable save Genestealers. Oh, nice. Or 5+ invulnerable save Acolytes. What's one of the biggest problems with Acolytes at the moment? They only have a 5+ armor save. They're very fragile. Well, guess what? 5+ invuln save suddenly makes those Acolytes a lot more durable. Speaking of Acolytes, this next one is incredible. Industrial Brutality, 1 command point. Double the attacks of all mining weapons in an Acolyte squad. Rock saw, rock drill, or rock cutter only. Holy fuck. 20 acolytes with 8 rock saws is currently 16 attacks. Okay? Now, you double that for 1 command point, and you're looking at 32 rock saw attacks. Okay? You have a Primus in there. Guess what? That's 32 rock saw attacks hitting on 2s. Even better, you get Might from Beyond on, and you get another 8 attacks. So you get 40 rock saw attacks hitting on 2s. And if you've got Might from Beyond on, that means the strength 10, which means they're wounding anything, pretty much, on 3s. And they do 2 damage each. And they're AP -4. You see that knight over there? I don't want to. 40 attacks going in, hitting on 2s. What's that, like 35 hits, roughly? Roughly. We'll say 33 hits. 22 wounds. Okay? The knight would get a 6-up save. That's what they're going to save if they're lucky for 18 wounds go through on the knight. Guess what? 2 damage each. 36 wounds on a knight. It dies. This will delete so much. This will make acolytes so good. Bearing in mind, there's another rumour that says acolytes are going to go down to 8 points per model from 11 points per model. You better start getting your acolytes ready, is all I can say. You better start getting your acolytes ready. Frenzied Hammering. Selection of aberrants. Each model in that unit increases attacks by D3. Roll 1s for the whole unit, but takes a -1 to hit rolls. This is kind of tough. It says Frenzied Hammering. I wouldn't use this with aberrants with hammers. I would use this with aberrants with pickaxes. Power picks, okay? Reason for this is you want to have like a Primus nearby these guys, so that would count. If you had a Primus and an Abominant supporting a big blob of aberrants with this going off, that's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. Or with pickaxes, they are going to demolish anything, because I think the new aberrants pickaxes get 2 attacks base with the picks, then they get extra attacks from the rending claw, so they've got like 4 attacks each. So this increased by D3, that's 6 attacks per aberrant. 6s, if you're near an Abominant, generate additional hits. It's incredible. It's incredible. Strength of Faith, 1 command point. Fibers feel no pain, but only versus mortal wounds in the psychic phase. Don't care. It's okay, but... Demolition Claw. When a unit with demolition charges makes its attacks while embarked on a Goliath, truck, or rock grinder, that unit's demolition charges are not expended in the attack. It's okay, I suppose. Nothing... It's 1 command point. It's distinctly okay. Deliverance Brood Surge. Oh, good. This is good. 1 command point. Allows the unit embarked on a Goliath truck, so only a Goliath truck, not a rock grinder, to disembark after it moves, though for each one that disembarks, roll a d6, and on a 6+, the unit takes a mortal wound. Now, I don't know why it would be on a 6. Normally this happens on like a 1, but the way I would see you using this is 10 aberrants or something similar in a truck. They jump out. You drive the truck forward, because aberrants are slow. That's the problem with them. Unless you're ambushing them in, aberrants are slow. Okay, and if you would really want to be ambushing in things like 20 Genestealers, plus 20 Neophytes, plus 20 Acolytes. That's the kind of stuff you want to be ambushing in, and then your aberrants you put, then what you do is you put 9 aberrants or 10 aberrants in a truck with an Abominant hanging around nearby, and Primus nearby. I think you could probably shove all that in 1 truck. You drive the truck forward, the aberrants get out, so suddenly the truck is... You could move the truck and advance it as well. I think it's got a 12-inch move, the truck, plus probably about a 15-inch move. Then you can disembark another 9-inch. You're looking like 24 inches, potentially, with threat range, with a unit of aberrants. It's great. It's absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Numbers beyond counting. 3 command points. We remove unit from the board. Next turn, deploy it via cult ambush at its full strength. Fantastic. It's basically Untitled Traitors. We all know how good Untitled Traitors is. Last one, breaking formation. 2 command points. You may deploy a unit with the vehicle keyword from your army with the Genestealer cult keyword as per the cult ambush rules. Pretty good. Might be a really good way of getting a rock grinder up close and personal. Can you put things in the rock grinder? Could you do something like cult ambush, a rock grinder in, with your aberrants inside, and then could you use the Warlord Traits so you get to pick the result, so your rock grinder starts really close to the enemy, and then you could use Deliverance Brood Surge, so after a unit moves, so I guess after cult ambush at the end of the movement phase, you can jump your guys out and fight with them. I don't know. It's just good. It just gives you ways of it has flexibility. I don't know how it's going to quite work, but definitely gives you flexibility. So there you go, guys. They're the Warlord Traits. They're the Stratagems. I mean, they look very, very powerful. Some general things. Metamorphs are now cheaper. All the weapons have got AP -1 now, or better. And they're cheaper than Genestealers as well. Hand Flamers are rumoured to be 4 points rather than 8, which would be cool. And Rock Grinders and Goliath Trucks are going to be reduced in points as well. Okay? And apparently the reason for this is feedback from the design team is, we realise that if a Genestealer cult player wants to get something to the front line quicker, then they'll just call ambush stuff. If they want to protect their neophytes, they'll just get more neophytes. And he said more neophytes, which is also cheaper. So I think what that means is it's cheaper than buying a truck. I don't think it means neophytes are going down in points. And he said the relics and psychic powers, apart from telepathic summons in 7th edition, are all ports from the 7th edition codex. Now I don't know what those are, but that's interesting. What do you think? Some of these seem very, very good. I think the Warlord Traits are legit. I honestly don't know about the Stratagems. I expect Acolytes and Metamorphs to get cheaper, and Trucks and Rock Grinders to get cheaper, because that has happened in pretty much every codex. Yeah. What do you guys think? If this is true, how do you think it's going to affect you? How would you deal with this incredible, accurate mass ambushing? Give me your thoughts. Give me your feedback. Genestealer cult players out there, are you excited for this, if this is true? Please leave lots of comments. So, thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.